Besides porcelains with an underglazed design, monochrome glazed porcelains have also experienced innovation. Compared to painted porcelains, monochrome glazed porcelains have only one chance to be successfully fired. It is impossible to correct flaw after firing. Coated in pure and bright glazes, this type of porcelain became popular both in the court and in the market. The Shanghai Museum Ceramics Gallery offers visitors a colorful and artistic display of monochrome glazed porcelain from the Ming to Qing dynasties. Celadon has always been the most favored monochrome glazed porcelain. The Shanghai Museum houses a rich collection of Celadon wares from various periods of time. Besides the early Celadon, including Longchuan wares and Yaozhou wares, the museum also collects Celadon wares made by official kilns in the Qing dynasty. Coated with a fresh and lustrous glaze, this Celadon jar in the collection has the roaring dragons fly high among the clouds above the rolling ocean. It shows how sophisticated the shaping and firing techniques were back then. It is surely a masterpiece that the official kiln contributed every possible endeavor to create. In the early 1950s, Mr. Zhenmo H.C. Hu, the late master of Zhongdelo, donated a great number of fine ceramics to the Shanghai Museum out of his love for his homeland. Subsequently, he made a second joint donation with his wife, Miss Wang Huayun, in 1989. The vase with animal mask patterns is one of the donations. It has enriched the museum's collection of Celadon. Red glaze, or copper red glaze, needs high temperature firing. This dish from the Hongwu reign is covered with light red. Comparatively, the tone of this red glazed dish from the Yongle reign is richer, thus called ruby red, a testament to the technique used to make mature red glazed wares. During the Qing dynasty, red glaze was more varied, including the new inventions like rouge red and cowpea red. It was a golden age for red glazed porcelains. Among them, cowpea red glazed porcelains are the hardest to make. Green spots usually appear on these porcelains, which are caused by flaws in technique, but later became a characteristic of this kind of porcelain. With the green moss, they look elegant, mild, and pleasing to the eye. Blue glaze is a mixture of cobalt pigment and transparent glaze. This dish has the veil pattern coated under the blue glaze. It is apparently a mature product of blue glaze. They usually appear pure and deep blue at a high temperature under a fine and lustrous glazed surface. Yellow glaze is a low-temperature lead flux glaze that takes iron as the colorant. It reaches its height during the Hongji reign. This dish, based in transparent yellow glaze, shiny and elegant. It is the crown jewel of the best-fired yellow glaze wares in history. As the painted porcelain industry grew, the decor art of porcelain also developed. An overglazed colored design is added to the made porcelain, which is then fired for a second time at a lower temperature. Doucai, literally contrasting color, refers to the techniques of combining a high-temperature fired underglaze blue design with low-temperature fired overglaze paintings. Typical porcelain with a doucai design is a combination of underglaze blue contours and overglaze paints. Compared to doucai, wucai porcelains are vibrantly colored with simple application of paints. They once led the trend in the ceramics industry. One of the fine examples of wucai porcelains is this jar with a design of fish and algae. Orange carps swim freely among the lush algae. The composition is well balanced, creating a lively and poetic atmosphere. algae patterns were favored by the Jiajing court. But wares with algae patterns as large as this one is a precious rarity. In the Kangxi reign, techniques of overglazed blue and black were developed in Jingdezhen. Since then, all the colors in Wucai porcelains have become overglaze. Wucai porcelains in the Qing dynasty reached its peak during the Kangxi reign. Many large wares were produced in folk kilns. The Wucai vase is painted with the theme of Liu Bei's marriage story in the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. The composition of the scene is delicately separated and decorated by bands of the elaborate brocade and floral ground, as well as antiques in small reserve panels around the foot rim and shoulder. The figures are carefully drawn in bright overglaze paints. This vase is a masterpiece produced by the folk kiln in the Kangxi reign. Compared to Fensai porcelains, Wucai wares need to be fired at a high temperature, as its contrasting and dynamic colors are regarded less soft than Fensai. Wucai is nicknamed hard colors. This Jingdezhen Wucai dish's patterns, theme, composition are typical of a Kangxi ware. The bright colors and careful paintings define its distinctiveness from the folkin in the Kangxi reign. Lots of splendid Fensai porcelains were produced during the Yongzhen reign. This olive-shaped vase, with a bat and peach pattern gifted by Miss Alice Chung, has a delicate and light body covered in a white and sleek glaze. The bat and peach pattern implies the auspicious meaning of felicity and longevity. This beautiful lifelike scene is delicately painted in rich colors. This vase represents the pinnacle of the Fensai technique. Olive-shaped vases were mostly produced during the Yongzhen reign. Most of such vases have a blue and white design, but rarely a Fensai design. This vase is the only olive-shaped vase with a Fensai design we can see today, a priceless treasure indeed. Fensai porcelains made in the Qianlong reign, following the Yongzhen period, had never been more mature. This Jingdezhen Fensai vase depicts a popular Chinese legend, 8 immortals crossing the sea. The immortals, posing differently, are drawn with Fensai techniques. The brocade pattern is carefully illustrated. Auspicious motifs include the character shou, lotus, and bats. This vase is a Fensai porcelain masterpiece from the Qianlong reign. Besides, Fensai porcelains sometimes were made in pairs. This pair of vases from Zhongde is painted with 100 deer, symbolizing a wish of getting promoted and fortune. It is extremely rare to find porcelain in pairs this well preserved and intact. Enamels were originally used in copper body, but later on porcelains, facilitating the shades of color to be exposed. Enamel-painted porcelains were exclusive for the court. This bowl with bamboos has a delicate and white body. The outside of the bowl is painted with bamboos and rocks in various tones of black enamels, resembling a literati's ink painting. Another example is this vase with an enamel design of figures. It is richer in color. 2 men sit nearby a large rock, seemingly to share insights about an anecdote in a book. In the scene, the vase, censer, and ruyi are meticulously depicted, showing an idyllic life that a Chinese literatist dreams.